next tank hero for Overwatch 2 might actually be a mutant. Let's have a look. Ever since we saw that little teaser at the end of the Season 13 trailer, the community has been buzzing with ideas, coming up with theories on who the next tank hero for Overwatch 2 might be. Now, in case you missed it, the teaser showed one of the university spawn points on the Oasis map. The one where that big black ball of goo used to be. And I'm saying used to be because it was stolen. And whoever stole it left behind all these very colorful holographic graffiti pieces, which seem to hint to a group that calls themselves the Phreaks. In my previous video, I mentioned that some community members connected that name to an old piece of concept art showing a rebel group fighting the police in Paris during the first Omnic crisis. So we all assumed that the new hero was going to be connected to those guys. But that was kind of an old concept. The ideas of the Phreaks seems to have evolved. See, in that same video I also mentioned that there was a bit of a connection with Moira, since she used to have a lab on Oasis in the university. Well, this week with the start of Season 13 we got to see that spawn room in person. And first off, it looked slightly different. The positions of the tags were different. And we also got to see a lot more of these tags. So I took a closer look. First off, a lot of them seem to be depicting animals. Like there's this one bulldog. But the thing that jumped out at me was that there were a lot of reptiles. Second, there was this tag that said "Phreaks are the future." And another one that says "Free the Phreaks." That kind of reminded me of something. See, I used to read a lot of X-Men comics back when I was a kid. And one of the recurring themes in those comics was that people were afraid of the mutants because they were different, because they were strong. They actually imprisoned them. Now, the X-Men had their own way of dealing with all of this. They became superheroes. There also was a group of mutants that kind of positioned themselves above humans, that saw themselves as that next step, as if they were the future, so to speak. See where I'm going with this? What if the Phreaks is a gang of mutants, both humans and animals, that were mutated by Moira and all of her experiments? I mean, it was a known fact that she did some experiments on rabbits when she had her laboratory in Oasis. And I think there's also a voice line where she lost some bats. I'm not sure. But who knows what other animals she used and how far she went with humans. And the thing is that black orb that used to be in Oasis is tied into those experiments, according to some emails that you can find in that room. And that were translated by Twitter user Kiriko Kamoris. This orb is called Vandarium. The orb was actually discovered by the Wayfinders, but they had no use for it. So they shipped it off to Oasis, and it was meant to go into the geology lab. But the scientists in the geology lab were actually investigating some earthquake, so it was temporarily stored in Moira's genetic lab. Moira being Moira, she started doing experiments. She used the Vandarium, and according to some of those emails, she actually did some clinical trials. So who knows who she has been testing this on. You could also tell in those emails that she had no intent of giving that Vandarium back. Now, according to some sources, it's Angela Ziegler or Mercy that found out that she was doing these weird experiments, which lost her job as minister, her lab, and all of her funding. But then she found Talon. Now, a question I have is, did the Phreaks steal this for Moira or for Talon? Are they on Talon's payroll? Or did they steal it for themselves, so they can, much like some of the mutants in the X-Men, make more of their own kind? Are they trying to turn everybody into mutants? Dun dun dun. Yeah, I think we actually need a hero in a wheelchair now. He'll fix it. But back to that next tank hero. As I've stated multiple times, that rather different look, that almost animal look, and that shield-like hump on his back in that little hero image we got to see at BlizzCon still throws me off. It's bothering me. However, when I saw that reptile spray, things started to fall in place. And some of you have said the same thing in my comments. So luckily I'm not the only one that thinks that the next hero might be a mutant. That's right, I said it. He might be an animal, well, more specifically a reptile, and a human hybrid. He might have a shield on his back, he has a Scottish accent, and he can shoot purple crystals. I just do not want to know how he shoots them. No, seriously, we can see a lot of those crystals in Oasis, and when I saw those first pictures, I imagined they would be the result of a shockwave that he sent out. But I've seen a different hint that points in another direction. Blaze discovered that in one of the forward spawns on New Queen Street, that is the Canadian push map, that actually might be the home turf of the Phreaks. It is a club, and it's also plastered in all of those holographic graffiti pieces. But the room was not trashed, as they did in Oasis. And second, those pieces seem to be arranged neatly on the wall, almost as if they were decorating the clubhouse. But it seems that our Scottish hero is hiding in Canada. I guess they like their Timmies. If you look on the wall, there's a dartboard, and in the center of that dartboard, right in the bullseye, is one of those purple shards. So it seems he can aim. Again, I don't want to know how. By the way, there's one spray that we can find in both locations that really intrigues me. I think it is an important one, but I guess that will become clearer as they share more info on that hero, which might not take too long. First off, I do think we might get a new teaser around the mid-season update, which is going to be in about 4 weeks. And then on November 22nd, during the grand finals of the OWCS, we might see that first trailer for the next hero. And they might announce the test weekend. The thing is, of course, if they're going to kick off the test weekend during that event, they're going to lose some viewers, because most of us are going to be playing the new hero. We'll see. But this could be extremely cool. This could introduce a whole new faction with all kinds of half-human, half-animal creatures that we can fight with. And for those of you that might think that this is a little too far-fetched and that it is not fitting for Overwatch, let me remind you that we have been playing with a talking gorilla that wields a huge Tesla gun since day one. And don't get me started about his genius little brother that made a whole mech out of an escape pod and actually became the champion of Junkertown. Anything's possible. To be fair, all we need now is a cat with a jetpack. But what do you think about this idea? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons. I could not make these videos without you guys. You have my eternal gratitude. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out this video. Click it. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.